All right, we're going to give a brief overview on two new processors that we are releasing in December. And they are all to do about security orchestration and response, ChatOps and incident management platforms. So what we're going to do is essentially configure our alerter, which if you haven't already seen it, there's a separate explainer video on that, but it's very easy to use. We'll give a really quick overview. So this is the query that you normally put into the query search bar for the SIEM. And we're going to specify the index pattern, the fields that I'm interested in. So as you can see over here, I am querying for users that logged in to my Azure Active Directory. And all I'm really interested in is the IP address of whoever it is that logged in. So that's why I have, these are the fields that I'm interested from the whole alert or the whole event. I'm only interested in one or two or three fields. I'm interested in one over here. And yeah, just to make sure I do get results, I'm going to put this to now minus 1 day. You could set this to shorter, but run it more frequently. But this is a demo, so it's going to be now minus 1 day. All right, so here we're obviously missing something because the alerts have nowhere to go to, and that's where our two new processors come in. So for ChatOps, we're going to focus on Microsoft Teams, at least from where we are. It's super popular. So if we put in MS Teams, or actually just Teams, we're going to see the first of the two new processors, which is put Microsoft Teams. Now, again, this is super easy to use because all it tells you is if you have any proxies, which I don't, so I can just leave those as blank, and the alert content, which I will get to soon. The alert content, this we got from Microsoft documentation, nothing special here. It comes straight from the horse's mouth, kind of thing. Team color, title, you can change anything. We are interested in changing the text. How to change the text, we're going to see very soon. And normally you are provided with a webhook URL. Now, I don't have a webhook URL because I am doing a demo. So one good tip I have for you in general is to use an online mock HTTP endpoint, which is actually this one, the bScepter. bScepter allows you to define endpoints. I will just show you what's coming up, what's hitting that. Okay, so let's do demo. By the way, everything is public here, so don't do anything that you'd regret and get stuck in some data leak. So demo Teams. Let's create that endpoint. All right, so we can copy this, put it here, and for now I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so let's hit apply. Let's click and drag those two, add. Okay, and let's introduce the second one now, I guess. So the second one is the Hive API. So the Hive API is an incident management, a popular incident management response system, and it's something very similar to what we just saw. Input Teams. Now, I don't have a Hive URL, so I'm going to use the same thing with bScepter. I need to put in an API key, which again I don't have, plus I'm sending to a public endpoint, so I'm going to put in garbage. And then the alert content. Now the alert content we got again from their documentation, and you are free to modify it as you want. It's pre-populated with the format that they expect, just like we did with Microsoft. So it makes things easy for you, but you are free to change this at will, which in fact we are, because I'm interested in changing the description. It's just an example. You can change any of these, but for demo's sake, let's do that. So let's do that. We'll add, by the way, I forgot. That's why I have this warning sign over here. The proxy port and proxy IP isn't validated. So let's go, because I don't have any, and I can just leave them as blank. Right, so everything looks good. There's no warnings. We can just go ahead. Now, let's hit this run once, and it should go ahead and query our seam. That's that running right there, and it should send all the results to both my um, processors. So let's refresh. There we go, 861 unique events. So obviously you wouldn't want to use this in real life for the alerts. That's too chatty. But let's go and see the queue. This is only done once, just like how to set it up. If we go on the info button for any of these entries, these are all the log events that are queued, kind of ready to go. And let's view the details. And we have attributes. And if you notice attributes, I have the file name path, which are unique ID, which are extra kind of internal. And we're interested in sending to either Teams or to the Hive, actually this field, this attribute. So I'm literally going to copy that attribute, which, if you remember, is the same as I set an alerter. But in general, this is how you do it. We can close there. Now, I would like to configure this. And like I said, change my chat. So I'm going to put in logged in from, and now here we can use variables, or what Nifi calls an expression language. There's a lot you can do, but we're going to keep it nice and simple. And we're going to use that. So it's just literally copy pasting the attribute field that I want to see. You can be very you can pick and choose, you can have multiple attributes, you can do whatever you want. So let's click on OK there, let's click on apply, and I'm going to do something very similar to the Hive one. So we go here, we'll open this, go there, and then and we're going to see what happens. So let's click on OK, let's click apply. First, let's not mix things up, let's do the Microsoft Teams one, okay? So we're going to make it run once, and we should see one event. Actually, it popped up right there, and one event would have disappeared if I hit refresh. So it went down by one. All right, let's go see what we got. If we go on that, we see that we got the post exactly as we wanted to. Now, this would normally be your Teams webhook URL, okay? But there you go, logged in from, and the correct variable substitution. Let's hit it again, but this time with the Hive, because the Hive does something slightly different, okay? The Hive expects a proper API URL input, and if you notice here, on purpose, I left it out. So according to their documentation, you should have /API /version1 /alerts, whatever it is. Now we leave you free to specify your own, just in case you have your own. But if you don't put it in, which is what I did here, it will work anyway. So we're going to make it run once, just like we did before. We got a new message there. Now you see it automatically appended, the correct URL that was expected. So we open that there, and you can see I seem to have inserted some kind of extra character there, which I should get rid of. Indeed. There we go. So I should get rid of that, in fact. And that's it. So if you were to actually substitute now the correct URLs for both services, you have your ChatOps and your incident response ready to go.